Earlier this year, we saved a legendary straight-six engine from a scrapyard. We paid £1 for it, and it was in bad shape. We literally forklifted it out of a hedge, transported it to Jaguar specialist Tom Lenthall.
I'm going to rip the thread in the crank. That's solid, like proper solid.
And stripped it down to see just how bad things were after years sitting outside in the elements.
By the end of today's video, this engine will be completely rebuilt and totally transformed.
Too wide. You've got to be kidding me. It should just fit.
The consequences have gone through the roof. So we are back with our 4-litre straight-six engine that we paid £1 for, and we've got some parts. We've got pistons, we've got rods, we've got a refurbished crank, clutch, flywheel. But let's look at the really nice stuff. The block and the head. Quite the glow up. We gave it a quick pressure wash the last time we were here, but Tom has been working behind the scenes so hard to get it looking like it does. Now the block could be saved, the head couldn't. We'll get to that in a bit. But let's get the big man in and chat through how he's got this engine looking like this. Tom, it's good to be back. This engine looks phenomenal. I think genuinely some of our audience will not believe that this is the same block.
No, you wouldn't believe it, the amount of cleaning and stuff that's gone in, but you know, it's come up quite well, hasn't it, really?
Well, what I like is you've left some patina. So round the back here, you can see sort of oxidization, bit corrosion. Normally, because
this engine sat around for so long, the oxidization in the aluminium was so bad, I couldn't get rid of all of it. And normally, I would never paint the side of a block, but I have given this a light dust and a paint just to make it look a little bit better. But I left it around the back so you could see what it did look like, even after the acid cleaning and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, it's come up all right.
Well, it's good to know that basically no matter how much fresh stuff we put in, the original block is the original block.
The really good important thing is okay, the outside of the block's the outside of the block, but the inside of the block cleaned up beautifully, which is what I expect.
I mean, some of the cylinders were heavily corroded.
Oh, yeah.
So they will have had to take some serious machining to get back to where they are.
Fortunately, the pistons that you've gone for are oversized anyway.
Okay.
So they all had to be opened out. So as part of that process, that got rid of all of that.
Okay, so this could be saved, but something that couldn't be saved is the head.
Yeah,
look at that.
yeah, so we're going to have a look, yeah.
So this looks absolutely immaculate, but it's not our cylinder head.
No, your cylinder head, or the original one, because it had been sat with the cam cover off, it was so corroded, the corrosion was embedded into the cams, in the lobes, all of the followers, everything was just too far gone, and to buy all of the bits as individuals to replace them and sort the cylinder head out would have been really, really expensive. So I took the decision that it wasn't financially viable. It was a write-off. It was a financial write-off. So then you got really lucky because one of my customers rang me up just by chance and said he was selling a load of bits, of which this was some stuff that he had sat in his shed. A brand new old stock factory cylinder head with camshafts, valves, everything. I couldn't believe it.
Wow.
So
it was meant to be.
Yeah, I think it was meant to be. So look, I can't get any better than that. You know, you can't, it is brand new. The valves are brand new, everything's brand new.
And it means the next couple of days we don't need to muck about with putting the cams in.
No,
this will just lob straight on.
Literally, we just time up the cams, which they're roughly in the right place in a minute. We'll sort that out, and literally plonk it on top of the block, bolt it down, job's done.
Okay, well, I've been chatting to your guys here. They say that when you build engines, you like to do it by yourself.
Yep.
With no distractions.
Correct.
In your own time.
Correct.
We're doing none of those.
No. It's not going to be one of those days. No, I find that when you're building engines, there's stuff you need to concentrate on. And because I'm so busy during the day and everyone needs me, I tend to do it in the evenings.
Right. Okay.
After the phone stopped ringing and all the rest of it. But I've given them instructions to leave me alone today. So hopefully that'll happen. And and then we'll be able to crack on and get it done.
What's first?
First thing is the block's all prepped, so that's good, that's ready to go. So we just need to flip that over. We need to start getting some bearings in it, and then we'll drop the crank in, and we're going to set the crank, make sure that turns all right, and then we move on to conrods and pistons.
Okay, bottom end, let's go.
Bottom end.
Before we begin the build, a quick thank you to all the people and places that have made this project happen.
Classic and modern engines, machining. Performance Unlimited for our conrods and pistons. Simply Performance parts. Berkshire Jack components, timing chains. S&G Barrett parts. TTV Racing clutch and flywheel. Roy's Vapor Blasting. And of course, the sponsor of the build, Liqui Moly. Is there anything weird about an AJ16 that I should know about? Is there anything quirky, or is it a pretty standard down the line engine?
No, not really. I mean, as far as, when I was at college and you start building engines and stuff like that, we were doing sort of like little A-series engines and things like that. And, the principle of these engines is just like most engines, they're all pretty much the same. There's nothing overly exciting about it. It's not like you're doing a rotary engine or something like that.
Yeah. They don't exactly slide in.
These aren't a very nice fit, these bearings, are they?
No, I'm not very happy with this one. It's kind of in, but not.
Too wide. You've got to be kidding me. Is there anything that's going to get on this engine that's going to not give me a hard time?
So we've come across an immediate issue. We're putting in these bearings, and basically they've got a little tab on them that aligns with a slot in the block here. And the tab, I would say, if you get in right in close here, you can see, I would say they're about 1 millimeter too wide, 1 mil or two too wide, which means they don't sit. You just press them in and they should fit really nicely, and they don't. They sit proud. Some of them have kind of gone in, but you can pretty much track all the way down the block, and yeah, they're about 1 mil out. That needs to be as snug as can be. Tom's on the phone. I'm sure he'll sort it out.
I either file the hole out there, which I'm not going to do, because that's going to put swarf everywhere I don't want it, or I file that down a little bit so that it fits in nicely. It'll still say located, blah, 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 blah.
How accurate does that little slot need to be?
It'd be nice if it was perfect, okay, but this is the reality of it, if you think about it. So the only way I'm going to get these bearings to go in and fit is by taking a little bit off that. Will it weaken the bearing and stop it from, or make it more likely to spin? No, not for what we're trying to do here. But, and this is the joys of aftermarket parts. And this is the first time I've used these bearings, so I've got no choice.
Okay.
At this present moment in time, I now have no choice.
No worries, we're here, we're doing it.
Yeah, I cannot leave that like that.
Okay, so we'll take all these out.
So we've got to take them out, and then I'm going to have to sit there to make them fit.
Okay, let's do that.
Yeah. So all taking the piss, what we have to do is, if we file that down, just do a little bit, right, and then we'll give them a wipe off, make sure it fits, and then what we're going to do is we'll clean each bearing before we put them back in for its final thing. So, but what I want to do is I want to put the bearings in, yeah, and then once it's in, don't move it, because we're pretty much tailor-making them to each journal now.
Sake.
Yep.
I want to make it clear that I'm not comfortable with this situation, but Tom's the professional. What we're definitely going to do is make sure that they are all as clean as physically possible. There's going to be little shards of swarf everywhere, so we're going to take them all out, clean them again, have a little test fit, probably clean them again, clean the block itself, and then move on. Clean, 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 clean. Right, dropping the crank in.
Yeah, we're going to put the crank in, yeah. I'm probably better off doing that, to be honest. So. Cool, that is tight in there.
Tom, we were struggling, but now this is actually going round quite nice. How have we managed that?
Okay, so the thrust washers were just a little bit too big. So what we did, we whipped it out. I took them next door to my mates at Nicholson McLaren. They stuck it on the surface grinder, and they've taken 3 thou off of it. We've put it back in, and I've now got a very, very nice 4 thou end float. So I'm back in my happy place, Mike.
So basically, this bearing kit that we've got is a load of crap.
Yeah, it's. Yeah, I would agree that it should just fit. Yeah, because it's a standard crank with a little bit of wear in it. The washers should not be oversized. We shouldn't have to do it. However, that's just a reality of building engines.
Let's torque it down.
Yeah, so now, let's get some caps on it and torque it down.
Easy. always super conscious. People, you know, full-time mechanics, technicians, they always say you can just tell by the way someone holds a tool.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And I just know I'm not holding it right, but I can't do anything about it. A few more lessons, and you could just leave me to it.
You reckon?
I'd do your Sierra engine.
Okay, wicked.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay, let's make sure it turns. Make sure it didn't lock up on that last one.
That last little tweak.
that last one, yeah.
No.
And how free would you say that is?
It's really nice.
Yeah,
it's really nice.
It's turning nicely. So that's a combination of your amazing filing on the bearings, obviously, and the fact that we've had it line honed, which is what Paul at Classic and Modern done for us. So
very cool.
So I would say that he's done a good job on that. Because I can literally just pull the whole crank over with one finger, can't I? Obviously now right, next thing is we've got to start assembling the pistons on the rods, and then we're going to start putting them in. And again, it's the same thing. We're going to put a piston in, we're going to bolt up the conrod, get the cap on it, bolt it up, torque it down. Now we're going to start getting some resistance in the engine, because obviously we've got pistons and rings that's really going to drag it, so that's really going to slow things up a little bit, but it's really important that we can literally just push that over with a finger. If it was any tighter than that, we'd be able to take it apart, and we'd be looking for witness marks of where it's biting and stuff like that.
Okay.
Cool, so I'm happy with that.
Nice. Rods.
Pistons.
Pistons and rods. For the engine internals, we're going to go forged. Performance Unlimited, up north, have drafted us in with Carrillo rods and pistons. These look absolutely phenomenal. Let's compare them to the last remaining piston from the original £1 engine. Look at the state of that. The other 5 were actually converted into prizes at Otto Alex's Shed Fest. This is the final one. Just as a reminder how bad this engine really was. Look at the corrosion going on. But yeah, I think you'll agree, bit of an upgrade.
These parts are full-on race spec items, Carrillo being a very sought-after supplier of custom pistons and rods for projects just like this. Now it was the case of installing them into the block.
Right, I'm happy with that. That's good. Right, go back around the top so she's all nice and flush. Okay, that's good. Right, now you have a go at tapping her down then.
Tell me when to commit.
Yeah, you can commit. Keep going. I'll tell you to stop. Go on.
Oh,
look, the relief.
Remember that moment in the strip down episode where Tom totally schooled me?
I've not got the weight behind me, Tom.
Oh, is that what it is?
No, can't do it. We'll swap. Come on, Daddy Lenthall. Oh.
Well, it was time for another top tip lesson from Daddy Lenthall.
What are you laughing at?
Because you're an engineer, right? Look, that's perfect, right? Okay. I'll just explain something to you, yeah? If you're like that, it's a lot harder, isn't it? Whereas if you're pulling it there, then you've got more leverage. It just makes it easier.
I feel like I'm doing more over there.
Yeah, but you've got better feel then. If you're like this, you're having to put more, you know, because you're stretching and... Anyway, but you look, you did it.
I've just done it all. For God's sake, Tom.
Well done, Mike.
Thank you.
Well done.
God damn it.
Right, come on and spin it over. Let's see what she feels like.
Okay. All 6 installed.
Yeah.
Let's have a pop.
Clunk.
Oh my God, it's just beautiful.
Yeah, feels good, doesn't it?
And the nice thing about a straight 6 is they come up in pairs. So
Go on, turn it over.
Oh, Jesus.
Now you just got to get it at about 7,000 RPM in you.
That is stunning.
Yeah, it just looks cool, doesn't it?
What an engine.
We were soon going to need to hit the road for a parts run, and Tom kindly offered the keys to his beloved Jaguar XJC. It has recently come back from a road trip with the Otto Alex team to Poland and back, so I thought it was best to give it a quick service for him. And considering it has the same engine as the one we're building, it would be good to get some practice in.
Look who Molly has sent us all of these products, including some nice fancy additives. But first of all, let's get oil back into Emma. We've got some 10W40. Let's get in that car. We showed you guys this car and this engine bay in the last video of our £1 engine. But just to remind you guys, this is an AJ16 supercharged 4-litre straight six. So this XJC is a proper resto mod. Tom says this engine is putting out around 370 horsepower, which is a lot in a car this age considering how light it is. So before we take it for a spin, let's get some oil in there. No glugging with me. That's pure. Next, we're going to put in some oil additive. This stuff contains a form of high-load lubricating film on all metal surfaces. Sounds good to me.
Finally, we added some liquid moly injection cleaner. This removes deposits to maximise combustion, making sure the fuel burns as cleanly as possible to maintain Emma's engine health and performance. While we were servicing Emma, Tom fitted the timing chain and the tensioners. He then called us over to finish fitting the oil pump, with the old pump still showcasing some last signs of its scrapyard days.
You can actually hear the amount of water. I mean, there's probably not much oil left in it at all. It literally is glugging around the pump. That's horrible. Yuck. Tom, it's next morning. You've added some stuff. What's been added on here?
Okay, so while you guys are all out having dinner and, you know, whining and dining, did you really? Was it good? Was it?
Teriyaki.
Yeah, I was doing this, but anyway. Look, I just I put the top timing chain in and put this guide in, and we needed some dowels to fit the oil pump, and I managed to find some of those, so I just fitted all that on: oil pump chain and the oil pump tensioner stroke guide. Okay. So basically the timing chain setup is done and ready. So what we need to do this morning is we need to flip the engine over and then put in the rest of the oil pickup system. Then we're going to put the front chest on, and then we're going to put the back plate of the engine on, and then we can flip it over, and then we can put the sump on. And then that'll be like the bottom end of the engine effectively done. And then we'll start working on the top end.
Okay, so the aim is by lunchtime, this will be totally finished. They just press in.
They literally just wiggle in on the O-rings, yeah.
What would you recommend we put this engine in? I know obviously you've got your XJC, but maybe outside of that.
I mean, people put them in all sorts of things, you know, kit cars and, you know, whatever, you know. It's just whatever really floats your boat. I mean, the sort of horsepower that you're going for, I probably wouldn't stick it in like a Cougar kit car or something like that. I think you need it to be in something that's got a little bit of weight to it, a good track, and it's, you know, because it's going to go like stink.
They don't know how much horsepower we're going for yet, so...
Okay.
But that's a little Easter egg for them.
Next, it was time to whack on the front chest using some Loctite that was kindly sent out for this build, making sure the front of the engine was fully sealed.
Sump time.
Yep.
But we're going with a baffled sump. What is a baffled sump and why do we need it?
A baffled sump is basically a sump that's got gateways in it to try and keep the oil where we pick the where the pipe picks it up from. So when we're racing and we're braking hard, the oil flies up here, and then we go around the corner, the oil comes over here. So what tends to happen is when you're braking hard into a corner and turning at the same time, all the oil's going away from where we want to keep it.
It sloshes away.
It sloshes away, yeah.
Okay.
So we modify the sump, and then I put in this plate, which has got a hole in it with little gateways, so the oil can go through that way, but then can't escape. So the idea is it keeps it where we want it. So that slots down into the sump there, and then this then will sit on top of it. And then what I do is we weld in this extra section here. So instead of the oil slopping out of the top, it holds it where we want the pickup.
So does the pickup kind of locate around
this? The pickup locates in here.
Okay.
So by putting in the extra section, it keeps the oil where we want it rather than it pouring out all over the place.
At the end of the day, this whole engine build is just one massive Lego set. It's just a Lego set that if you get it wrong, it goes catastrophically wrong. It's just being an adult though, isn't it? It's the same stuff, but the consequences have gone through the roof.
Fingers. There we go. So let's get this. It's a bit tricky because these. Yeah, you've got to just give them a little bit of a squeeze and a little bit of love sometimes just to get them to go where you want them to go. That's it.
Nice.
Okay.
Being an MG Rover guy, I do like a head gasket. I like a fresh one going on.
That's because you have to change them so much.
Well, exactly.
That's what that's all about.
Lovely.
So look, that's it.
Okay.
Head gasket on. We
Head.
need a cylinder head. Let's spruce it over. And we are literally going to lift it up. Just...
Yep.
Yeah, go on. That's it. And straight down on the studs, he says. So, right, you're going to have to lift it, and we have to... What I tend to do is, if you lift it, let me line it up here. That's it. So you should be somewhere close at the back there. That's it.
Nice.
And try and let it down evenly with me. Look at that.
Oh.
Hey?
What a beauty.
That's not too bad, is it?
The amount of height that's added to the engine now. I mean, it is a beast of an engine, this thing.
Oh, yeah,
once
it's a
you're
big
done.
old lump. Yeah.
4 litre straight 6.
Yeah.
What a beast.
Yeah.
The last thing this engine needed was the cam cover, which Tom had sent off to be painted like it was brand new, apart from one little change I had in mind.
So Tom, I reckon most of my audience will have seen this car before, but if they haven't, this is the famous Emma. Tell the audience about this. It's such a cool car.
So Emma is a 1977 XJC 4.2 automatic. It started out life.
Okay.
And
It's not that anymore.
it's not that anymore. No.
Maybe able to hear it, frankly.
Yeah. So, yeah, I just wanted to go out and find a nice, good car, nothing special. I didn't want a bodywork exercise, and I didn't want a massive trim job or anything like that. So we wanted to do a mechanical resto mod.
Okay.
With a 4-litre supercharged engine, manual gearbox, standalone engine management system, electronic throttle bodies. It's got all Brembo 4-pot calipers on the rear, 4-pots on the front as well, with big 355mm discs, I think they were.
Okay.
Gas suspension, uprated steering. There was we rebuilt both front and rear axles to a high spec, rebuilt the engine, and I think the outcome's quite cool. You know, it's got a custom exhaust, which I think you'd agree sounds quite nice.
Yeah, so this is essentially the same engine and, well, probably gearbox by the time we're finished that we're building right now.
Correct. Yeah. So it's pretty much the like for like unit. Comes out of a 1995, 1996 supercharged Jag.
Okay, and it's called Emma because you had a friend that passed away.
That's right.
Called Emma, and you've been raising money, and we restored the MG in aid of that.
You guys
and I know
helped us out.
Alex has been doing a whole load of things with regards to it as well. But this car is, well, it's almost bittersweet, isn't it? That this car is going up for sale very soon.
Yeah.
Under the hammer.
I've grown very attached to this car. More than anything, it's just so much fun to drive.
Yeah.
It's, you really could use this as a daily driver.
It feels fantastic.
Yeah. I've got a V12 one of these, which I've had for years, which I'm also very attached to. And I really don't know. I think this one's more fun.
Okay.
But I'm very attached to the other one. I can't let it go.
Okay, so it's going under the hammer at the NEC Classic.
Yep, that's right.
And all the profits from this project are going to the charity as well.
That's right, yeah. All the proceeds go to the RNLI.
Oh, Tom. What a car! Oh, yes.
Yeah, so the money goes to the RNLI, and we're buying a jet ski with all the launch equipment to go on one of the beaches in the UK to go out and save people's lives. So the big thing we wanted to do was buy a piece of equipment that saves people's lives. So, and we've actually already raised enough money on the Just Giving page with the other things we've been doing to pay for that bit of kit.
Amazing.
The extra money from this is going to go towards training people to use the kit. So that's
very cool.
So so hopefully we're going to do some good.
Yeah, and guys, there's a link in the description below. If you want to contribute towards the Just Giving page, give money towards the RNLI, then link in the description, donate what you can. It'd be really, really cool.
Fingers crossed, it's gonna do really well. So, I'd like to see as much money raised for the charity as possible.
Cool. So this video will be going out before the auction.
Yep.
So guys, tune in to the NEC Classic Car auction at Silverstone, is it?
Silverstone, I think this one's scheduled for the Saturday, which is the 9th.
Yeah, so Remembrance Weekend. Tune in, it'll be on YouTube, live stream, and yeah, check out how much Emma the Jag goes for. Good luck. I hope it goes well.
Thank you. So we are now about to pull up at Super Spray Body Shop.
Hello, I'm Mike.
Hi Jose, how are we doing? All right, mate? Good man?
Yeah, it's good.
Come on then, let's have a look. Let's see what you've done for me.
So this is your current project.
This is my current project. Come on, look at that.
That is fresh.
That's not bad, is it?
What colour is it? Do you know the
opalescent dark blue.
Opalescent dark blue.
Yeah, so spent a long time choosing the colour. When I do stuff like this, I think it's got to be an original colour of period, which this is, although there's about 50 different shades of opalescent dark blue, I've subsequently found out. Quite like it. I think it's got the metallic in it. It's quite good.
Metallic, yeah.
Yeah, when it's in the sunlight, it should really pop out.
And is this going to be resto modi like Emma, or?
Not as heavily, but yeah, I don't do anything standard. I believe in making the outside of the vehicle look as it is from the 60s or whatever period it is, but it's having an original type engine, 5-speed gearbox, air conditioning, fuel injection, with ESU carbs, but I'm turning into throttle bodies, and that's about it really. I have decent suspension and a few other bits and pieces, but externally it'll look just like a semi-lightweight replica E-Type, which is what it is.
Well, Jose, you've been working on the final bit of our engine build. It's just around the corner. Can we have a look at it, please? Yes. Oh, yes. Look at that. So, Tom, I very specifically asked you, because this is supposed to be red, right? This writing's normally red.
Yes, it is normally red, yeah.
And I asked for basically silk cut purple.
Yeah.
Like my favourite racing Jags. Look at that. Perfect.
That is going to look good set on top of there, isn't it?
It is a good looking cam cover as well, just in general, but yeah, that placed on top. Oh yes. After buying this thing for £1, dragging it out of a scrapyard, and then resurrecting the worst internals we had ever seen, this 4-litre straight 6 is now the best looking engine we've ever had on the channel. Behold the DRIVETRIBE £1 engine. So, what next for this engine? Well, if there's appetite from you guys, we will whack it in a car, but probably not in its standard form. Some of you guys might notice there's something missing from this engine, the supercharger. Now, there's a reason behind that. We've chatted about it before. This engine has a beefy bottom end, and we reckon it could take some serious boost. So, why not go bigger? Why not take on some of the legendary straight 6s out of Japan from the 90s? You know what they say? Go Garrett or go home. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. I've been Mike, and don't forget to subscribe to DRIVETRIBE. We could go nuts with this thing.